Republicans are brushing off the losses in Tuesday's election, saying that the results don't signal a real shift in how voters are feeling. House leaders insisting that Dems only won in Dem territory. Watch this.
If Alabama held an election also Tuesday and gee whiz, a Republican governor was elected governor of Alabama, would anybody be writing a story about it? Of course not. So let them go celebrate New Jersey electing a Democrat governor, New York City electing a Democrat.
CNN's Harry Anton looking into this and running the numbers. That's Steve Scalise's take here. What are you seeing?
Yeah, I disagree entirely. I think that the House is on fire, and he's like the dog saying, this is fine. Take a look at this. It's all about the margins, baby. Look, Democratic candidates' margins. In 2024 press in New Jersey, Kamala Harris won by 6. What happened on Tuesday? Well, right now, Mikey Sherrill's ahead by 13. That might be 14 very quickly. We're talking about a shift of at least 7 points, upwards of 8. How about in Virginia? We had Kamala Harris winning by 6. What do we have Abigail Spanberger winning by? Winning by 15. We're talking about a shift of about 9 points. If we had, let's say, an average 8-point shift across the board in all the different House seats from the 2024 press result to then what happened in the 2026 House elections, you would be talking about a Democratic gain of about 20 seats, depending on redistricting. So when I see those results on Tuesday night, I see these huge shifts in the Democratic direction. I say, Republican leaders, wake the heck off and have some of what I'm having, because this is a major warning sign.
Is this track with other elections we've already had this year?
Yes, that's exactly right. So you see New Jersey, you see Virginia, but those are not the only signs. When voters vote, Democrats do well. I mean, just take a look at the House special elections. Take a look here, the 2025 House special elections. Look at those in which Democrats outran Kamala Harris. There have been 5 House special elections so far this year. In every single one of them, across the board, Virginia, Texas 18, that was on Tuesday night, Florida 6, Florida 1, Arizona 7. From blue districts like Arizona 7 to red districts like Florida 1 and 6, what we are seeing are clear shift towards the Democratic candidates in all 5 of them. And we're talking about shifts on average, Kate Baldwin, of about or north of 15 percentage points from the 2024 presidential baseline, which is even larger than the shifts that we saw in both Virginia and New Jersey on Tuesday night.
I mean, and a million things can happen in the year until the midterms. With that caveat, what are you seeing?
A year is a very long period of time, but you know, we've spoken about this. I like going through history. What do these off-year elections usually forecast for the year ahead for the midterm elections? Well, I mean, we take a look at the House special elections, right? If a party outperforms in House special elections 5 out of 5 times, what do we see? They've gone on to win the U.S. House the following midterm every single time since the 2005-2006 cycle. So when you see, of course, that the Democrats are outperforming in all of them, historically speaking, that means they go on to win the U.S. House of Representatives in the following midterm. And then, yes, New York, New Jersey, Virginia, yes, these are blue city in New York City, yes, the blue states in Virginia and New Jersey, but historically speaking, when you sweep all 3, you go back since the FDR administration. Guess what? The Democrats, when they sweep all 3, go on to win the House 5 out of 5 times. So it's the special elections, it's New Jersey, New York City, Virginia, all those put together. Yes, it is a year from now, but all those put together usually forecast pain for the Republican Party come the midterm elections. If I'm Steve Scalise, I am not dismissing these results. I'm going to try and get myself some fire insurance.
Might also have something to do with what Steve Scalise, what Republican leaders say in public versus the conversations that they're having.
They might be trying to quell the troops, but know very well that this is not good news.
It's good to see you.
Nice to see you.
And my panel is back. Josh Dawsey, let me just show our viewers what the actual numbers are, what people are actually feeling out there. Clear majorities say that groceries, utilities are getting more expensive for them. They think their health care and their housing have either gone up, or the same, and they're split on the issue that the president talks about a lot, which is gas prices.
Right, and that's, the president won the election for the number one reason of the economy. If you looked at how he polled above Kamala Harris, above Joe Biden, he had double digit across the board voters thought he would be better to handle the economy. And I think that's a real vulnerability for him now. And if you talk to people around him, they would say the same thing. They're trying to figure out their economic messaging. And what the president has said continuously is things going to get better, it's going to get better, it's already going down. But people don't really believe that.
Joining us now to discuss this and more, Republican Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene of Georgia. She serves on the House Oversight and Homeland Security Committees. Congresswoman, thanks so much for joining us. When we spoke the other day last month, it was relatively recently, you acknowledged that the cost of living here in the United States is still high under President Trump. Is that a major reason why Republicans, you believe, lost the elections the other day?
It's a massive reason, and I think they were surprised by it. But it's been something I've been talking about for quite some time, and that's the most important thing people care about: the ability to put food on the table, a roof over their heads, and also their safety and security for their financial future.
Speaker Mike Johnson, Senate Majority Leader Thune, and Vice President J.D. Vance, they all downplayed the election results, disputing that this is a broader wake-up call for your party. Are they wrong?
I don't think they should downplay it. I'm from Georgia, and we lost two very important public service commission seats that were statewide races in the state of Georgia. I think that should be a big wake-up call to my home state. We've got the entire slate coming up in 2026 with Governor, Lieutenant Governor, Secretary of State, and John Ossoff's Senate seat is up for election. So I think it's a major wake-up call, as well as other down-ballot races in like Pennsylvania and Mississippi.
You've been really clear, including on this show, about your unhappiness with both Speaker Johnson and Leader Thune. Who would you rather see lead Republicans in Congress?
I think that's a very hard question. Here's my issue. I'm America first, and I don't apologize for that. And I believe Congress, both Democrats and Republicans, should be serving the American people. And when you campaign on America first, it's like having a restaurant advertising like a certain type of food, and then you don't deliver America first, and your customers come in your restaurant and the food's totally different, and they're like, wait a minute, this isn't what I was coming in for. You're not going to have those return customers. And I see it through that business lens. And here, I was telling my staff on the way here, I said, I voted to fund the government on September 18th. And here we are today is November 6th. And the House has not been in session since then. And I truly believe that's an utter failure. And you can't expect people to show up and be passionate about voting for you when you're not even going to work, and they're going to work every single day and struggling to pay their bills.
So there's no one you can think of that you would like to see lead the Republicans in Congress?
I haven't even heard those conversations yet, but we're not even meeting. So it's hard to do that.
The President Trump, told Senate Republicans behind closed doors yesterday, as you probably read about, that Republicans are getting, quote, killed over the government shutdown, and that's why they must change their approach or risk future losses. I know you feel similarly. Have you spoken directly with the president about this?
I have not, but I did speak to him some time ago about using the nuclear option and overriding the filibuster. And I told him, I said, Mr. President, this is the only way you're going to get your agenda across. And I called for it. I think it was early October. I actually started calling, saying that, Democrats should vote to fund the government, but Republicans are equally responsible. And if they're serious about funding the government, they should use the nuclear option and override the filibuster to get it done. And so I'm very pleased to see President Trump saying the same thing I'm saying.
I'm just curious, when did you talk to him about that? Because he came out recently, as you well know, and called for Republicans to get rid of the filibuster and use the nuclear option. Do you think that could have been tied to your push for that, or when did you talk to him?
I think I spoke to him about that.
So you see Republicans ditching them and siding with Democrats, and you see it, voters doing it, Republican voters. The margins you saw, part of it might be that, midterms have lower turnout, and the opposition party, the smaller party, often has higher enthusiasm. So a part of the Democratic rise in percentage is partially well, Republicans stay home, Democrats don't. You don't have to flip every voter. You just have to have your people come out more. But the margins we saw indicate that a significant number of voters flipped. And not just in the blue states, but we saw big margins where people ran ahead of Harris in Texas, in Florida, in other places. And it's not a coincidence that Marjorie Taylor Greene, who represents a district in Georgia, but it's a deep red district that you would see in parts of Florida or in parts of Texas, where you're really witnessing people abandon the GOP. Now, some of it's rhetorics. Some of it's just purely tactics. I do think it's fair to note that Marjorie Taylor Greene probably wants to run for Senate or some kind of statewide office. And she's going to need to appear more moderate to do so. So there's a chance she just doesn't believe any of this. But I do think it's telling that for Marjorie, she understands MAGA's not the path forward. So even if we're just talking tactics here, Marjorie wasn't Marjorie wasn't doing this a year ago, 6 months ago, 3 months ago. It's been about 3-4 months she's kind of changed her tune. Why? Well, I think it's because she's seen the data and she's not as dumb as maybe we thought she was. And she's saying, I got to make a shift. I can keep winning my R+20 district forever, right? But if I ever want to do more than that, MAGA is a dead end in even a red-leaning state. And MAGA will increasingly become a dead end in many parts of Florida and Texas. So keep this in mind. It's not about morals. It's about money and power. But when MAGA doesn't lead to money and power, that's saying something.